Nope, I said I wasn't gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I promised myself I wasn't gonna do it. Highway to the danger zone. Right into the danger zone. Top Gun Maverick is brought to us by director Joseph Kosinski and stars Tom Cruise, Jennifer Connelly, and Miles Teller. After more than 30 years of service as one of the Navy's top aviators, Pete Mitchell is where he belongs, pushing the envelope as a courageous test pilot and dodging the advancement in rank that would ground him. So here it is, the sequel that is 36 years in the making, and also the sequel that I thought was gonna suck ass. So let me go ahead and throw it out there right now. When it comes to 1986's Top Gun, I think it's a pretty good movie. I enjoy it, but a lot of that enjoyment comes from nostalgia. When looking at the movie from a critical standpoint, story-wise, there's not a whole lot going on there. It's got a whole lot of 80s machismo, and it's got some cool fighter jet scenes, but as a whole, it's kinda shallow in the story department. I still enjoy it, hell, I own it, but it doesn't change the fact that I understand a lot of that enjoyment is because of sheer nostalgia. I grew up with this movie. So when we caught word that they were making a sequel to this movie that came out 30-something years ago at the time that really didn't have that much of a great story, I thought to myself, why? They didn't have much story to tell to begin with. What the fuck story do they have to tell now? Well, I was wrong. This is how you do a sequel. Holy shit, this movie was fucking awesome. Not only did they come in and do the original justice and have a bit of nostalgia for those of us that grew up with the movie, but they also told their own wholly original new story. And not just a wholly original new story, but a wholly original new story that was actually really interesting and got me invested in the characters. I actually cared about these characters, even the side characters. They gave them enough backstory, enough story to when they went up in the sky and things got hairy, I was worried for them. And worried you will be, because this movie is fucking intense as hell. And a lot of that is due to the absolutely fantastic fighter plane scenes in this movie. Most, if not all of them, were all done practically. I'm sure they had some CG in there here or there, but the vast majority of it is these actors, at least in the planes. I know Tom Cruise supposedly was actually flying the damn jets. I don't know about everybody else, but they all sure as hell are in these planes. You can't fake that. CGI ain't that good yet. And these scenes in these fighters, which is quite a few in this movie, are super fucking intense. I'm pretty sure when I got back to my car after seeing the movie, I looked down and had one of the armrests still attached to my arm. Every time they go up in these planes, the movie did a fantastic job of letting us know this is dangerous as hell. While on one hand, after seeing this movie, I want to like go join the Navy or the Air Force and go up in a fighter jet myself. But on the other hand, this movie scared the living shit out of me. I never want to get on a fucking plane again. I don't want to ruin the story, but basically Maverick is doing pretty much the same thing he was doing 36 years ago. It's almost like he's kind of sabotaged his career. He is still a captain while everyone else has moved on to higher ranks. And a big part of that is because the guy doesn't want to give up flying. He's an adrenaline junkie. That's where he wants to be. That's where he was meant to be. He doesn't want to get out of the cockpit of a plane. That's all he wants. He doesn't want all this other acclaim and medals. He just wants to go up in planes and shoot other planes down. So through a course of events, he is called back to the Top Gun Academy to teach a class. This class of individuals is made up of all the best of the best that have already graduated from the Top Gun Academy. And they've gathered them all together because there's this like uranium nuclear like outpost or something in the mountains in this other unknown foreign country. And they need to get a band of great fighters together to go and blow it up. Problem is it's in this canyon in between mountains and pretty much nobody can get to it that way. So they gather together the best of the best. And to train the best of the best, they get the best of the best of the best. Maverick. You can probably guess more or less where the movie goes from there, and it is awesome. While that doesn't sound like the deepest story ever, compared to the first one, it's fucking Shakespeare. Now there is some stuff in this movie that is very reminiscent of the original. And when it comes to a sequel 36 years after the fact of a very popular film, you expect it. The first 5 minutes of the movie, it's understandable if you get confused and think you've walked into a viewing of the original Top Gun. It pretty much starts exactly the same as that movie did. We get the epic Top Gun theme multiple times throughout the movie. Of course, course, we get some Kenny Loggins, some familiar faces, and we get characters that are pretty much just carbon copies of characters from the old movie. Hangman, you ain't nothing but an Iceman clone, but it's alright. All that being said though, the movie does a great job of balancing that nostalgia for the old movie with new stuff for this movie. This movie is very much its own film. In fact, you could watch just this movie having never seen the original. Sure, seeing the original definitely helped, but this movie did a really good job of catching you up to speed. And I never felt like the nostalgic aspects of this film were too much. There are some parts of the movie that you see coming a mile away, especially closer to the end. The cool thing is though, when these scenes play out, even though you know what their outcome is going to be, they're still really cool and very well done. There's quite a few fuck yeah moments in the movie, and some of them you see coming, yeah, but there's still fuck yeah moments and you're sitting there with everybody else going, fuck yeah! I thought that was really cool. That shows how well made this movie was, that even though I knew what was gonna happen sometimes, it was still fucking awesome. Performance-wise, everybody does a really good job here. If you like the performances in Top Gun, you're gonna like the performances in Top Gun Maverick. I would take it a step further though and say that the performances in this movie as a whole are better. Say Jennifer Connelly versus Kelly McGillis. Nothing against Kelly McGillis, and I'm not getting into the whole thing as to why she is or is not in this movie, but the fact of the matter is Jennifer Connelly and Tom Cruise are a much better match. They have a lot better chemistry than he and McGinnis did back in the old movie. Also, Miles Teller as Goose's son, Rooster, is awesome. His story arc is really interesting as well, but Teller himself just did a fantastic job here. If you can get in a scene with Tom Cruise and still be a focal point of that scene, still be seen, and people be like looking at you and noticing you over Tom Cruise, you know you're doing a really good fucking job. Because it's fucking Tom Cruise, and I think it goes without saying that the guy did a great job here. And regardless of what anybody says about the guy in his personal life, as far as an actor, a performer, and entertainer, he is top of the top. He might be crazy as shit in his personal life, but the guy can fucking entertain. Now, another great part of this movie would be its cinematography and just overall look. I hesitate to say special effects because so much of it here is practical. I guess it's still special effects, but it's not special effects in the way that we traditionally think of nowadays in movies. Any other movie like this, we'd have CGI jets going all over the place, and I'm sure it would look cool, but it would not be nearly as intense and awesome as it is in this movie. And that is because so much of this was done practically, and it all looks fantastic. These are some of the most adrenaline pumping awesome scenes in movies I've seen in some time. Like really, this movie will have you fucking hype when you walk out of the theater. And some of the shots that they got in this movie with these jets are just amazing. Side note, if you have an opportunity, go see this movie in theaters in IMAX. Almost all of the fighter plane shots were done in actual IMAX, and they are glorious to behold in that format. Guys, Top Gun Maverick was a movie that I really wasn't expecting much out of, but not only did it live up to expectations, it blew those expectations out of the water. This movie was a fun as hell, heart-pumping, exciting ride from beginning all the way to the end. There were just no lulls. Anytime you thought, oh, this is the part where the movie starts to slow down, it just turns right around and keeps on going. You do get some nostalgia bait here or there, and dependent upon how you feel about that is going to determine if that's a good thing or a bad thing. For me, I thought they did a great job balancing this. There are parts of the film that you can see the outcome coming a mile away, but they are still just so well done that they're awesome. I never in a million years thought that I was actually going to be this on board with a Top Gun sequel. It truly was a hell of a movie and a fantastic theater experience that is absolutely worth a buy.
Do it! Do it!
Show me the money!
Do it!
You motherfucker!
So,
Show me the money!
do it!
This is definitely one of the best movies I've seen this year, and one of the most exciting movies I've seen in a long time. So even if you're not the biggest fan of the original Top Gun, I implore you, go check this movie out because it is just awesome. So there it is, guys, my review of Top Gun Maverick. If you enjoyed and want more content like this, hit that subscribe button and help my little channel grow. If you want to help out the channel, check out my Patreon in the description below. Become a jarhead and get some of the awesome benefits that go along with that, like these guys. And possibly join my top tier and become a bad motherfucker like my man Dragon Khan, Marge G, and Silverlock. If you liked what I had to say, give me a like. If not, let me know in the comments below why. And as always, stay sexy, Jetfighter Island.
Jeez!
Having any fun yet?
Well, While not the biggest complaint in the world, there is one spot that this movie let me down a little bit, and that is not enough danger zone. Yeah, it's there, but there was a primo opportunity in the end of this movie to kick in danger zone all of a sudden, and it would have just been like crowd rousing, applause all around, fucking awesome. I didn't get that though, so I was hoping at least at like the credits when they shot up on screen, we just all of a sudden get that but no go. Kenny Loggins would not approve.